Welcome back to another part of this F1 25 My Team Career Mode. This is part number 18 today in Season 2. Last time out, well, we kick things off with a bang, a literal bang, two of them in fact, as it was engine failures galore for ourselves, driving as Tim Tramnitz in round 1, and then we moved on to round 2, where Oscar Piastri from the lead of the race suffered an engine failure. We managed to salvage P5 and, make amends for the opening round. But yeah, 2 races in 1 for the opening Season 2 episode. Wasn't exactly the way I was envisaging the start of Season 2 to begin, but there we have it. It was a big, lengthily chunky episode, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It seemed like the reaction was really, really awesome. I was away at Le Mans when that uploaded, so I really didn't know your guys' reaction to all of that, but I'm really thankful you guys really enjoyed the start of Season 2. And although we picked up that P5 at Japan, the other teams around us, the teams we were fighting last season, some of them have really improved. It's putting us in a difficult position. We need to, now looking into this, be making these upgrades, 2 facility upgrades to come in, because we need upgrades. We really need them very quickly on the facility side and the car side. As I've stated before, the end of Season 1, in a positive way, man, the AI are difficult, man. I'm finding this year compared to other years where I just can't seem to get that advantage on them in R&D terms. They are really always one step ahead of me, and it's proving a little bit difficult. At the same time, as we get on through the episodes, I am getting more and more comfortable with this specific My Team car around each circuit and the game itself. So naturally, you're going to get a bit quicker as we go on through the series. So that is helping us maybe drag the car up to maybe places where it doesn't truly lie, but that's also part and part of the job of playing My Team, is you're trying to also maximize everything, even if maybe the car fully isn't there, and hopefully you can pick up some pieces. And there'll be some races where, well, like Australia, we have to just take our lumps, and we have to, just accept the fate. So still pending on the facility upgrades on personnel and corporate, 2 more going on engineering. We still actually haven't maximized our workforce on the engineering. So when we've got time on the timeline, I want to try and book in some of those activities where you're trying to boost the hiring rate of the engineering staff, because that will actually reduce the time everything takes the more staff you have, although obviously costs a bit more internally with the team, as we have some early talks once again beginning with Andrea Kimi Antonelli, now at Haas, of course. So maybe a slightly more advantageous position for us to be courting Antonelli, because, of course, he was at Mercedes last season. He got booted in favor of Carlos Sainz. And based off the start of the season, I think Antonelli, well, he's clearly better than Haas. I mean, Behrman's better than Haas in terms of they both deserved a bit better from what Haas showed in Season 1. Unlike in real life, in Season 1 in this game, Haas really just weren't there on any sort of pace, whereas in real life, obviously, Behrman's had a couple of chances to show what he's made of, and now here in the game, Antonelli replaced him. Behrman's a free agent, but so Antonelli, I think, will be up for talks, and then Behrman, he's a free agent, so he's a massive gimme, and, I've already stated my intent of pursuing both of them actively for talks. Whether they go anywhere remains to be seen. If Antonelli sees more of a future with Haas, because it might be a pipeline to a beloved Ferrari drive, because there is a bit of affinity there with the Ferrari power unit. But for Behrman as a free agent, I think, because he's a free agent, I think we've got to go for him. If he wasn't, I probably wouldn't be considering him. But because he's right there for the taking, no team has him. It feels like a no-brainer, but that's how this season is looking at the moment with the standings. Pretty actually all right in terms of the positions, but that's because the likes of Alpine really have had a very subdued start to how they ended Season 1, and I fear it's only a matter of time before they get going. And really, when you look at the R&D chart, Aston Martin technically should be doing much better, but maybe their drivers are letting them down somewhat, but maybe it's only a matter of time before they get going as well. So we could be displaced by 2 positions of the constructors if we're not careful. So that's why I'm trying so hard to get, performance on this car to get upgrades. We've actually got money to make upgrades, but we have to wait for them to come in. Then it takes time to take effect. It's this year's game, in a really good way, it seems so much more long term to get your team up there. You know, it's not going to be a case of nailed on 2 seasons to fight for the championship. I really don't think we're going to be anywhere near a championship fight this season, but I'm hoping that at some point we could be near that elusive first race win, just to keep our spirits up. But as we go on through, just before into the race weekend, just updating you guys on the decal editor and the sponsors. We've unlocked some more slots, so you can see the nose cone now has an extra sponsor slot on there, so I just moved some things around, and now genuinely it's looking like an actual F1 team, you know, very filled to the brim with sponsors stacked along the nose cone. And you also may have seen some additions to the side pod with Aquita Oil as an extra side pod sponsor. I've also done an interesting thing with these end plates of the front wing there, trying to make a bit of a black tire mark sort of pattern with one of the sponsors. And then we've got some extra logo slots on the halo, the rear wing that was on the inside of the halo as well, that are kind of hidden in a clever way, so it's still kind of uniform and neat. This livery really is coming together. I really dig it, and I'm glad you guys did as well off the preseason and episode 1 of season 2. Now let's get into round 3 of this second season, Bahrain.
Well, as the sun goes down, the speeds go up. It's almost time to get underway for this shootout for the fastest time and the best possible grid position for tomorrow's race. Let's get on with it. It's qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
I think in that first season on this game, Bahrain was maybe the first proper reality check of maybe where the car was, maybe a first inkling also the slight disadvantage on the acceleration versus the AI. So I'm interested to see what sort of pace we've got. Obviously, it's a bit of a different car. We're a bit higher in the R&D chart than we were this time in the first season, and we just know a little bit more about how to drive it, you know, a bit more about the game as well and strategy. So that's going to help us come race day as well. But right now it's all about the pace over 1 lap, and currently P14 to 15 with Tramnitz behind. We're driving, as you can clearly see, as JB, as we took Tramnitz for 2 rounds following that DNF in the first race. So it's now our turn to drive as Button, and we go P9 in Q1 to get through into the second part of qualifying. And I'm hoping Tramnitz has also made it through. Piastri showing good pace. Sonoda up there though, 1, 2, 3 of current and former Red Bull drivers. Tramnitz does make it through P15. Stroll is out in the McLaren. Lawson is out in the Aston Martin. That's a bigger one, really. Stroll, not surprised. Lawson in the Aston Martin, the 4th best team on the grid. That's a real shocker for them. Just, you know, basically backing up what I was saying earlier, that they're really underperforming maybe because of their driver lineup. I don't know. I mean, Lawson's not terribly rated on the game though, so it's just not clicking for them, you know, as it was a couple of times last season. You know, they're very up and down Aston Martin, it appears, just like in real life in a way. As Q2, well, it's a straightforward banging in a good enough lap to get through into Q3. We set a first lap on a scrub set of tires. We had 1 new set of softs to burn for Q2, and that's got us through. And you know what? Tramnitz, P11. He nearly made it in. I mean, there's a bit of a gap there, but 0.2 of a second, and he would have been through into the top 10 shootout. Again, for a F3 driver rated lower than 70, you can't ask for much more. P11 is really solid in the context of how low Tramnitz still is rated in this game. I'm hoping he can grow a bit more and maybe be over 70, you know, by the end of this season. Our time together, potentially, you never know. But you know, that's really solid. And what you're about to see is it's even more impressive, because really that's kind of where the car is. Because I went out there, 1 set of softs given to us for Q3 new, and I thought, okay, could we maybe get up into a cheeky, you know, around P7 where Albon is? It's only going to be above our fellow compatriot Lando Norris. P9, obviously McLaren are actually one of our direct rivals in the R&D chart, and so the fact we've beaten them there is solid and is what is expected of us. But both of us are way off the pace from Hamilton, and that's P8 alone. And Tsunoda, we need to address that actually. Yuki Tsunoda has just bagged a pole position for Williams in his 3rd race with this team, ahead of the man who's left the team, Carlos Sainz in P3, but it's a 2-3 for Merck. Red Bull on the back foot, P4 and 5 Ferrari, a little bit wobbly there, and Albon, bit of a shocker for him to be so far off the pace of Tsunoda. Tsunoda and Russell have absolutely cooked on the timings, a little bit glitchy potentially, I don't know. But yeah, Tramlet's P11 to our P9 is even crazier then for Tim. And then for us, that's maybe where the car is, honestly. So, you know, whether we can go forwards will be about the tyre wear, the strategy. And I'm really intrigued to see how the Tsunoda v Mercedes battle is going to develop. Let's go to the grid for Sunday.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today? It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Yuki Tsunoda lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Piastri, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Albon, Hamilton, Button and Lando Norris, Tramnitz, Colapinto, Esteban Ocon and Gasly, Aaron, Doohan, Lance Stroll and Liam Lawson, Hülkenberg, Antonelli, Bortoletto and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend, Anthony Davidson. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish. But let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Big pressure at the start of the race, Crofty, for all of them up and down the grid, no matter where you are. But the drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
Now, going off last season, we know the hard tyres worked really well. We did that really locked-in stint where we just banged in such consistent laps. I think it was behind Hülkenberg in the Kick Sauber, then now known as Audi, of course, for this season. So I've started on hards, but it seems like a lot of the AI teams have also learned from last season, potentially, or just naturally they've got that kind of data to go off internally, and a lot of us are starting on hards. You've got Lando Norris on softs, which maybe reeks of a little bit desperation from McLaren wanting to do a bit of a glory run in the first stint, because they really are looking quite shoddy this season. But the rest of us, I think we're going quite similar, maybe 2 sets of hards to 1 set of mediums, really banking on this white wall tyre being the best race tyre, being that consistent tyre that you need around Bahrain as we go to 5 red lights. Round number 3, the Bahrain Grand Prix, a Williams on pole, lights out, and we're underway. It's a good getaway versus Albon, but in the second phase of the start, we've absolutely had a mare. The throttle control was non-existent, the wheel spin was incredible, and now we've had to take a evasive action versus Hamilton. It's all got a little bit argy-bargy and a bit of a concertina effect as we all bunch up. The Williams still leads the way. Tsunoda absolutely cooking at the start of this race. Gasly's done really well, and we're getting boxed in with Leclerc. Gasly on our inside, and we have to watch out for him. The Alpine showing that really maybe there is some genuine race pace still there for the Alpine. They just need to sort out their qualifying. They're not qualifying very well, or as well as they were at the end of last season. So maybe there is still a bit of that old car in there as we go on to lap number 2, and immediately there is a fight for first place between Tsunoda, Russell, Piastri darting about, going down the inside to make it 3 wide into turn 1 for the race lead. And just like in season 1, the middle car will get pinched out, and it's Piastri up to second place, and now might even go for first place. He is on a revenge tour for the DNF he had in Suzuka. He leads the way. He's on the soft compound. Verstappen tyres as well, who gets up to third. So I mocked McLaren for going on the softs. To be fair, Red Bull, the quickest team on paper, also on softs. But, you know, you feel like maybe they think they can use their car to good use to maybe run away. That might be their plan. Running away in the distance, breaking DRS, and, you know, waving goodbye to everyone else. And that clearly could actually work out, as Piastri now is in P1 and is nearly already a second ahead as we look down the order. Hadjar versus Lawson, the two former teammates from V-Carb. Now Lawson and the Aston side by side, and Gasly is on the side of us momentarily, but now ahead of us because on purpose, you may have seen on the bottom right with the ERS modes, I didn't put up a fight because I can tell the Alpine is so much quicker than us, and there's no point fighting Gasly. We may as well let him by and try and use him for a bit of DRS and kind of do our own race, kind of like what we did last season. You know, at Bahrain, more than other circuits, you really need to concentrate on the consistency and not wrecking the tyres too much around here, because I just feel like the AI is so good. They're so good around here. You cannot let your concentration break, as we now see the two Mercs squabbling. Russell having fought for the race lead, now on the back foot, being attacked by his teammate for P4. So I wonder, did he kind of maybe overdo it a little bit on his tyres and he now has to chill out a bit? Well, that's clearly not going to be an issue for him, because he's now on the offense as he goes for the move on Tsunoda once again. Another Red Bull in the fight. This time it's Verstappen on the outside. Tsunoda is the middle car who gets pinched out this time, and Verstappen though makes it a 1-2 for Red Bull. So the plan is working. I mean, Piastri's already 2.2 seconds down the road as Tsunoda and Russell are fighting still. I've only just noticed actually Russell's on the medium, so he should really, yeah, there you go, should really be overtaking Tsunoda. But Tsunoda put up a really good fight, really tried it on the outside, as we see Colapinto now on the outside of the McLaren. The Aston's on hards, remember, the McLaren's on softs, and yet the Aston is having a really good go, just showing maybe the lack of pace of the McLaren this season. Oh, Albon spun it, as Tsunoda is doing so well up above. Albon's feeling the pressure this season, and that is going to bring out an early safety car in this race. Albon spinning it at the hairpin, on the hairpin exit actually. So maybe just, you know, a bit too eager to, you know, get on the back of that fight of Norris and Colapinto it was, and also, you know, the Alpine was right behind, so feeling the pressure maybe from behind as well, and that pile-up essentially there, you can see the Audi knocks over the little bollard on the inside, so safety car out for good reason. Trying to get the tyre temps up, I kind of forgot about weaving a bit, and I forgot we're on hard, so everyone's in the same boat though, so maybe a lot of us are going to be a little bit iffy into turn one as we well, there's no other way to put it. We gave Lewis a bit of a love tap there on the exit because he's fallen asleep. I've illegally overtaken him because I didn't realise that the overtaking line was from the start-finish line, not the safety car line. That's a bit earlier. But we're still going to have a good go at overtaking Hamilton because, well, Unk was asleep. He was completely, we call him napping. And we're up to P7. I mean, all of us have cold tyres, but that Ferrari just did not get going, as Sainz is going to do the opposite. He is going to get fully engaged on this opening lap from the green flag and try and overtake Tsunoda to join his teammate Russell in P3 to 4 for Mercedes, whereas the Red Bulls are in formation 1-2. Piastri's gap to second now eroded, but you feel like both Red Bulls have this under control maybe, which is bad for everyone else, but let's see. Obviously, we thought that in Japan, maybe, and then Piastri suffered an engine failure, as Hadjar and Lawson still having a go at one another. And Lando Norris down in 21st place. We saw Hulkenberg in the Audi having a go at him. So it's a torrid time for Lando Norris in the McLaren. And that McLaren's getting very unlucky because I think he got held up then in the Albon spin and got pushed down the order, as Hadjar and Lawson still nipping at the heels of each other. And Sainz is now finally going to get this move done on Tsunoda. They're fighting so much, it might just bring Gasly Gasly and myself into this battle as Sainz has got the overtake, but Tsunoda comes back at him. This is personal. You know, it's his old team, Sainz is going up against, and now Gasly and myself are closing up. You can see I'm, being a bit cautious, saving ERS when we can, because these guys are still squabbling, so the opening isn't there yet. We just need to wait for the right opportunity. As look at the aggression Tsunoda is showing, though, to the inside. Oh, they nearly make contact, and there's a little bit of squirreling on the rear end as you try and get the power down as early as you can. And this is now forming a bit of a train with Gasly, myself, and Hamilton on it, because these guys are fighting so hard, losing each other so much time. There's a 3-second gap to the top three now, so I think sooner rather than later we need to make some sort of move. I mean, Gasly needs to make the move first, and then maybe we can think about joining him, as we're just following in tow with DRS. Yellow flags behind, and now carrying on. Is someone about to retire, I think, as the yellow sector carried on through the minimap? Yes, it's Albon. After spinning and causing the safety car on lap 4, after all of that, he's actually going to retire out of this race. It's misery for him, whilst his new teammate, is doing very well in a top 5, as we are now getting a little bit closer to Gasly, and maybe this is an opportunity to re-overtake him, because he is not getting a move on, as it were, versus Tsunoda, as Russell is trying to overtake Verstappen, but there's a second safety car of the day within 5 laps of each other, lap 4 to 9, and Tramnitz, our teammate, and a load of other people are going to gain from this as they come in under the safety car. Oh my God, we've had a collision with this safety car. Bert Mylander just drove into me at turn 1. What are you doing, man? Watch where you're going. Jesus, is there any damage? There's no damage, no floor damage. No, it's an absolute miracle. For goodness sake. Collision with the safety car, and this is a replay into turn 1. So I was following Gasly's racing line, the racing line for the AI under the safety car, and he's just there. He's just spawned on the inside, it seems like it, and hit us. I'm quite glad nothing happened. In past F1 games, hitting the safety car has either been known to 1, explode your car, or 2, give you a DSQ. So I'm very lucky there. But now, under the safety car, it seems like everyone's going to come in. And to be fair, we're only a couple of laps away from that first scheduled pit stop. So it makes sense. My teammate Tramnitz already came in, and others did as well, who were, they had time to come in when the safety car came out. All of us were already past the start-finish line. So there might be some advantages being gained in the bottom of this field, but the rest of us in the top 10 all coming at the same time. It's a bit of a mad rush in the pit lane. We get held a little bit, and so we actually jumped Sainz and Verstappen, but Hamilton has jumped us. So we lost 1 position to the Ferrari, but we gained 2 on the Merc and the Red Bull, the 2 cars that were double stacking with people. Leclerc also massively lost out. I think you can see on the minimap, I think Leclerc came out behind Tramnitz. That's how badly the Ferrari double stack went. But we're up to P6 then, so we have gained, and you'll notice that I am on the medium compound of tyre, because my original plan was hard, medium, but now, off the safety car restart, I think it's going to be, because we're all bunched up, let's make the most of this, being bunched up. Let's use the quicker compound and try and be very attacking on the front foot, and then we know we can go to a very consistent hard tyre at the end. And I thought that was like a mastermind plan. A lot of people around us are on mediums as well. I mean, Hamilton ahead is on soft, so clearly a lot of people are thinking the same thing, of going a bit aggressive on this second stint now thanks to the safety car, and then opting for that consistency, that stability in the last stint that the hard tyres give you, as we get ready for the safety car to come in this lap. Oh, it's another engine failure this season, and it's another high-profile one. Pierre Gasly having a torrid start to Season 2 compared to the end of Season 1. He is out of the session, and the timing of that was so tragic as we're about to get going for Green Flag Racing, and we're going to try and catch Uncle Hamilton napping again as we go down into turn 1. He's on the soft compound, but we've caught him out with the ERS deployment this time, not making the mistake we did by overtaking too early. Get the elbow out, and we're all of a sudden up into a P4 position. This is turning into a really interesting Bahrain Grand Prix with these safety cars. They've kept us in play, and they might just keep us in play if, you know, that Ferrari, I'm hoping that soft tire starts wearing. Hamilton could be a blockade to quicker cars behind if the Ferrari starts to struggle on tyre wear. And we're having a look forwards at Tsunoda versus Russell, as Piastri, by the way, has absolutely bolted. We can't even see where he is on the minimap as Tsunoda goes to the inside. A little bit of contact with Russell as Sainz gets down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. The Merc up into, well, he tried to get up into P5, so that's a bit of a weird situation also, by the way. So now, officially, Sainz and Hamilton have actually swapped positions in their Formula 1 careers. Only took a one-season little side skirt from Sainz into Williams, but here in Season 2, in this alternate universe, they have now officially swapped teams from 2024 as Hamilton and Sainz continue to swap positions on track here, and the same for Tsunoda and Russell. We're still just kind of, you know, floating about. It's not like I'm not trying to get in the middle of it on purpose. It's just that I'm finding it difficult to get into this fight without dumping my battery. You can see the battery's only floating around 20% at some of the points on the lap, and so I'm just worried about draining the battery and being vulnerable. But now onto lap 14, we're close enough to the Williams where I feel like we can make the move. Tsunoda's now nowhere near Russell, so the Williams is vulnerable. We're going to go to the outside. We force Tsunoda's hand to go tight into turn 1. We've got the inside line. It's going to be banging tyres and wheel to wheel on the exit. We're going to have to give Tsunoda a real big pinch to the inside, move to the racing line. It's going to invite Carlos Sainz in. Sainz, a little bit cheeky, tries to follow me through, and the Merc might just do it as we're up into a P3 at the moment. It's early days though. We've still got over half of this race to go. Would you believe it? So much has happened so far, but Tsunoda and Sainz fighting. Eventually Sainz will win that battle, and eventually I will just cede position because the Merc is the second best car. They are not in my fight today. If I fight Sainz, I'm going to lose so much time. You can see Russell's walked away from me. Sainz will probably do the same, and if he doesn't, he can at least be useful to us to give us DRS, because I lost Russell's DRS, so I need someone's DRS to help us out a little bit, and so that's the game plan there. So, you know, when we're at this stage of the championship, you know, this stage of our career in this series, I need to play really smart with what battles to fight. You know, when we've got the car to fight everyone, you know, you guys know me, I love a good scrap, but right now we need to be very, very clever about who we're fighting, as we see Verstappen now looking to pass Hamilton, who should be struggling on the softs, but Verstappen's also on the soft tyre. So Verstappen's gone soft so far in this Grand Prix, maybe showing the Red Bull has some really worryingly great tyre wear maybe in this Season 2, as they're still finishing off this battle. Verstappen just getting around the outside. That is a classic battle for the ages. Verstappen v Lewis Hamilton, and rounding on the top 10, doing Colapinto, Ocon at the top end. Piastri 3.2 seconds, I think that was, ahead of Russell. So he is trying his best to check out of this race. I'm trying my best to keep checked in with Carlos Sainz, as the gap is 0.3. And we're trying to keep it at that. We're going non-ERS where we can, saving battery. We're just outside of 1 second, I think, into that last corner. Piastri's coming in now, lap 19. Russell stays out, Sainz is in, and I follow Sainz in. I was always going to do what Sainz did because we're on the same strategy. We're on the same set of tyres, whereas Russell, I think he was on hards, was he not? So I think he's going longer, whereas all of us were on the same sort of strategy, going a bit earlier onto the hard tyres now for 9 laps of this race. It's a decent pit stop, and hopefully we're going to stick in tandem with Sainz, who is right there. Piastri out in somewhat of clean air. The two McLarens are actually staying out for a bit of a flash of glory in the top three, fleeting top three, I feel, for the Bahrain team right now, as Tsunoda comes out right behind us on new softs. So he is so quick. Those tyres are fired up. Mine are stone cold, and so we don't put up a fight on Tsunoda, knowing that we've got to warm up these hards. And well, he's on soft, so he should be pretty quick at the moment. Eventually, though, you'd think Tsunoda's tyres, they're going to wear. He's going to come back to me. So I'm confident we'll get the Williams here. We've overtaken Stroll, who's pits, I think that was. So just Lando to pit now. So we'll get up to P5 then. And then if we can get Tsunoda, we could be into a P4. How great would that be? Oh, sorry, it was Lando who pit earlier, and it's Stroll that's actually holding up the two Mercs. Sainz is now ahead of Russell. The two of them going for the move on Stroll at the same time, 3 abreast into the final corner. Russell on the soft compound, having gone a bit longer in this race, looking to get second. It's the first time the two Mercedes have really fought toe-to-toe, and of course it's at Bahrain. There's something about the jewel in the desert for the silver arrows as we launch it round the outside of Yuki Tsunoda to get up into P4. And, well, Verstappen is right there, though. I think we're going to have a tough time keeping the P4, because not only is Tsunoda attacking us with some vim right now on softs that are still pretty good, Verstappen's there, so that's going to be a big problem. Yellow... Oh, he spun it! Max Verstappen has spun the car! Oh, my day. What is going on? That's a very uncharacteristic error from the 5-time world champion, of course, having won in-game in 2025. He has spun it, trying to go around the outside of Tsunoda, and he's very slow. He's really letting quite a few cars... Oh, my God.
Red flag. Red flag.
Red flag. Verstappen, because he was so slow on the exit, he's caused a red flag, and he has just made this race even more interesting. I can't believe it. We've had 2 safety cars and 1 red flag in this race, and we hit the safety car. As it's just a very, very odd spin from Verstappen, and then this that reversing and kind of dilly-dallying causes the red flag. But you know what this means? It's now a sprint race to the end. We'll get going on lap 24. I did think about, you know, is a medium available? Maybe a medium is better even for 5 laps. But no, we're going to go for softs. Everyone will go for softs. It's a sprint race to the end, and we know now we might have a chance of securing and keeping this P4 or better as we go to 5 red lights for the 2nd time tonight in Bahrain. Lights out and away we go. It's a good getaway versus Sainz. It's an electric start as we now are on the outside of Russell into turn 1. He's been pinched in and blocked off by Piastri, and we are going to get through into 2nd place with Jenson Button. Piastri, I think he's been in control of this in this race this entire time. He's not up for grabs. That P1 has been booked in for Piastri, I feel, since the start of the race. But we are into 2nd place. We've just defended Russell. If we can hold off the attacks of these guys behind for just 5 laps, we could not only be on for our 2nd podium of the team's history, the first one being Monaco last season, season 1. That was also with Jenson Button, that brilliant 3rd place. Well, but the difference is we were driving as Tramnits at the time, so it was Button's AI that got that podium. This could be our first actual podium that I've driven us to, and it's even better. It's from 3rd place to 2nd, so this could turn into the team's best result ever, let alone this season. As fastest laps are coming in, though, and Russell is flying at us at a rate of knots. Lap 26, we're going to have to try and outbrake him. We're a little bit deep, try and get the car turned in. He's kind of there on the outside. We're looking in the mirrors, the proximity arrow, DRS open, using battery, but we've not got any left, so we have to stop deploying it and had to invite Russell into the inside because I need to make sure we save enough battery for the 2nd part of the lap, because that's really where the AI gain massively on you, I feel, around this circuit. So you just can't overuse it in Sector 1, however tempting, and instead I'm going to have to play, well, we call it a bit of 4D chess, 4D Formula 1 chess on the fly. Let Russell by, get DRS, and overtake him. It's a risky strategy because you have to be guaranteed, you have to be very confident that you can make that repass. But because we're all on new softs or semi-new softs and we're going to the end on low fuel, I'm confident we can get that launch to overtake him. Big lock-up for the Spaniard. The second Mercedes, who was pressurizing, has now given myself and Russell a bit of breathing room. Sainz is now under pressure from Leclerc, and so we've only got one car to worry about. Before, I had a whole train behind me, but now we've got Leclerc having a go at Sainz and Tsunoda as well. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. Ferrari on the outside, the Mercedes in the middle, Williams, and there's a lot of contact. There's a lot of carbon fiber flailing about, and I wonder if there's a bit of damage to the Williams or the Mercedes as Sainz is nearly pushed down 2 positions. He's going to fend off the Williams, but Leclerc all of a sudden is up into P4 out of nowhere, because at one point he was outside the top 10 behind our teammate Tramnet. So Leclerc, the recovery of a century this is for the man from Monaco. And now, as I said, the pressure is just from Russell. There's not another car closing up. It is just on Russell. And you may have actually seen whilst we were, watching that 3-car battle, we had to overtake Russell again into turn 1, and we'll do it again on lap 28, but this time it is on to the last lap. So this is it. I cannot pull that move again, because at this point in the track, the race is over on this lap. So we overtake Russell for one last time into turn 1, squeeze him out, and now, well, the game plan is to try and save as much battery as we can and then try and deploy it in the last sector, and that means leaving ourselves vulnerable to Russell because we need to go medium and none on the ERS for most of this next section to save enough juice for the last third, because we can't pull off that Wily or Fox move. We need to just, on merit, be ahead of Russell at the finish line through the last corner. And so this is the section where I'm worried about. We've got DRS coming up, that section, and also just, I feel like the AI is just godly through this left-hander. So we've got nearly 70% battery. We do have 70% battery, and we can dump a load of it on this straight. But you can see there, I'm actually being conservative because I'm doubly making sure we have more than enough battery for this next section, because then it's booked in, it's guaranteed that we're going to get an incredible second place. It's been a very lucky second place, I must say, with the 2 safety cars and the red flag, but sometimes in Formula 1 you need a bit of the rub of the green. Piastri, though, has not needed any luck as he wins his first race for Red Bull. And we are going to come home in our best position yet in the series, P2. And this time, it's our first podium we actually drove. Oh, unbelievable. That's come out of nowhere, but that's how bonkers that Bahrain Grand Prix was. Insanity.
Oscar Piastri, take a bow. What a performance. What a win.
Well, a great performance today by this driver, Crofty, and you could see that they're just at one with the car. Maybe really well adapted to the new regulations. They've clearly done their homework back at base, so fantastic stuff. And you get the feeling they're going to be hard to stop this season.
It's what every driver imagines when they start out on their long road towards Formula 1. And for our lucky 3 today, here's the podium waiting for them. They give out trophies for the winners. Today, they're Oscars. Your winner today, Oscar Piastri.
It's a cold, convincing win from Piastri. Much like his real-life performances for once in the game, he's actually showing a bit more like he is in real life, because that was dominant from him the whole time. But I'm focusing on us, that second place. It's our first podium of the season. It's our best result as a team in its history, and it's my best result driving on F1 25 in my team career mode. And that just simply keeps us in tow with Williams. We're still 10 points off them, but we're keeping up with a team that is definitely much better than us at the moment, and we're making use of Aston, Haas, Alpine not making the most of their car, and we're banking those points now just in case they start to actually perform like they should be on the R&D chart, because then we'll be thankful we have these points. But, you know, away from that, it was just a fantastic, you know, opportunistic race that you have to take with both hands when it's presented to you. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.